Welcome to The Grind, a podcast about the church planting process and missional strategies to make disciples of all nations. Coming to you from the offices of the Arkansas Baptist State Convention in Little Rock, Arkansas. Now, here are your hosts, Dave McClung and Chad Grigsby.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Grind. Big idea time. Dave McClung here. The lovely Chad Grigsby as well. What up?
Dave.
Chad.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Chad. So we're going to talk about a great conversation with Joey Cook. Love that guy, and they're doing such great stuff with City Church in Conway, and a lot of great things in there. I've already had a buddy tell me that may have been his favorite episode so far on the podcast. And so if you haven't checked out the interview with Joey, go check that out. Great stuff. I think it'd be very encouraging to a lot of planners. They've had some great highs and also some dark lows. And I think we can learn from all of that. And I think it's turned him into the great church planner that he is. But there's one particular statement that he made in there that captured both Chad and I in that conversation. We wanted to kind of unpack a little bit on the big idea. And coming out of Dallas and kind of the dark place that church planting left them in as a family in Dallas did not go well. It was rough on he and Sindel together as husband and wife, their family, their ministry, and really kind of struggling. There's got to be a different way to do this. And so when they moved to Conway and began to plant in Conway, how he described what they hoped would happen there was this. He said, we wanted to enjoy the presence of Jesus and extend that to friends and neighbors. And I thought, that's a great statement.
Yeah.
And there's another podcast coming up that you'll see next week that we just had a conversation with one of my former professors at Williams Baptist College talking about preaching and just the nature of the church. And really, we kind of described a lot of this in that conversation as well as what the church as a people with a message, should be, that we enjoy the presence of Jesus, are led by the presence of Jesus, and that we extend that to friends and neighbors and the world. And so how we do that, what form that takes, is always the question given the context. What a great picture of the church in that statement right there.
Yeah. When Jesus called the disciples, he said he called the 12 so that they might be with him, mm-hmm. and that he might send them out to preach.
Yeah.
That's a very specific order, I think.
Yeah.
The primary is to be with Jesus.
Right.
And then it's really from being with Jesus that we're sent out. And I think you hear that echoed in the book of Acts, where it said they knew they were uneducated, but they took note that they had been
with Jesus. Yep.
So I think Joey's onto something that when you think about church planting or ministry, if we're not leading from a place with Jesus or planting from a place from the presence of Jesus, then we're really doing it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our own strength, our own power, whatever. And even Pete, our buddy Pete Scazzaro says, you got to lead from union with Christ.
Right.
And that's the best place to lead from. So that's what I was hearing as Joey was describing that. It really resonated, I think, with us that, man, if you're not, and contrasting that with Dallas, which was kind of programmatic, do this, you get this.
Yeah.
Which seemed to be kind of what he was contrasting it. There's a big difference in doing stuff for God and doing stuff with God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he said, so,
yeah.
Man, just a really, really good thought is, you don't want to oversimplify it and reduce church planting to that.
Yeah.
But you have to have that.
Yeah. Well, and I think the first step is leading from a place of being with Christ. But then the second thing that he said is how are you extending that?
Yeah.
to your friends and neighbors, because the church is not just an individual, it is a group of people that are, sharing with one another, doing life together with one another. There are others that you bring on this journey with you. So, what you extend can only be what you've experienced. So
Right.
if we're not with Christ, we can't extend that to anybody else. And so contrary to that, if we are with Christ and in Christ and spending time with Christ, then we can't help but invite others along with us in that journey.
Yeah.
And so then church planting becomes more than just a worship service, more than just a preaching point, more than just a place where I can take my kids for some free childcare. It becomes a way of life that you do with your friends and neighbors, and you just go on this journey together.
Yeah.
And it just keeps extending and keeps expanding.
It's almost as if there's a Luke 10 Mary way to plant and a Martha way to plant.
Yeah.
You're worried and distracted about many things, Martha. But Mary's chosen the best thing.
Yeah.
And I think there's kind of two approaches that you can be worried about a lot of things, but man, you can get as a planter sideways real quick, where you start doing what Martha did, which is number one, you think Jesus doesn't care. Jesus, don't you care?
Yeah.
That's what she says. And then number two, you start telling Jesus what to do.
Yeah.
Tell my sister to help me.
Hey, fill this church with people. Jesus, come on.
I mean, real quick, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're entitled to what you think. And so, I think you're right.
That's a great thought. Absolutely. I think I'm going to preach that Sunday. So,
we never saw Luke 10 as a template for two ways to plant a church before.
Yeah, no kidding.
Pretty sure it's never been taught that way.
Yeah. But there you go. The gospel according to Grigsby. So
or the heresy.
Yeah. All right. So just as encouragement, think about church planting as, hey, we're going to spend time with Jesus, and we're going to extend the presence of Christ to our friends and family. And I tell you, I just think there's something profound in that. And if we can ever get that, then all the other things, all the Martha things will fall into place, because we've chosen the best thing first.
And Dave, man, you can't fake that either.
No, you can't. You can't.
You fake a lot of stuff in church planting stuff. I mean, you just can't fake Jesus.
Just can't.
In your life.
Yeah, that's it. All right, folks. Well, there's the big idea for this week, and we'll see you next time on The Grind. Adios.
Grinding.